Anyway, I wanted to put up a real quick thought, and I shouldn't even be doing a video like this in the middle of the night, but whatever. So anyway, for you all, Merry Christmas. You know, like because of the nature of what I do, I gotta I'll probably be off the books for a little bit. But I'm definitely excited for the future going forward. So anyway, this is I should share this video, and I might, but this is for the guy. Shout out to the Poor Man's Podcast. You know, young and upcoming YouTuber. Always like to see the new folks come into play, and a lot of these new guys will cover. You know, Soul Provider Speaks. These new younger guys, they're gonna cover Karas and Chrissy, all of them, because that's what they do, and we did it when we were younger. But quite frankly, folk shit like that annoys me, so I appreciate them for doing it so I don't have to, so they can dig into that information, and then I can just take what they do and point the little nuggets out that they pulled out. I love that. So everybody does their part. But anyway, so Crystal and Karen, to her credit, because remember what I said, I was going to pay attention to how long it was going to take for her to get a black dude, and she did within about 96 hours, about a week. So I give her credit for that. So yeah, she got a black dude as a CEO. Apparently, he has his own consultancy and all that. Great, good, high level consultancy. Good job. And he pretty much answered the question of not wanting kids. Basically, said he didn't want kids when he was younger, which is actually kind of ironic. Here's an ironic thing I want to point out. So Crystal and Karazin, and I'll link the Poor Man's Podcast in a little bit because that's really where he went into this, because this was his main part of the video. But Crystal and Karazin asked him about how he feels as a quote unquote high value man, CEO, makes money. How does he feel about dating a woman with kids? And he basically answered the question a long way. Basically, the conclusion he came to is, when I was younger and I didn't want kids, I got a lot of my goals accomplished. So my situation kind of switched to where um I changed, my priorities changed because I got a lot of my goals accomplished that I wanted to go. Basically the momentum of what he was doing was definitely at a trajectory that he would have hoped it would be, and probably a little bit faster. So his priority switched to now wanting kids and build a family. But with that being said, he said his legacy. Now, he never really outwardly said, he pretty much said it without saying it, because he made it very clear that he wanted to build his legacy, his family, and Karazin bought that, whatever. But what I find interesting is, when you look at this guy, can't remember, if you understand Karazin's history, Karazin basically dared that dude, her original, the father of her first daughter, to leave by saying, I'm gonna have this baby and I'm gonna see what you're gonna do. And he basically called her bluff and bounced. At least from her. And you know how that story ends with what her daughter is doing. The point is, I wonder, and this is the thing about a lot of motherfuckers not understanding who the fuck they're talking about, even with the shit they say. I'm not even talking about digging into their information. I'm talking about the shit they say. Shout out to SWP that did a lot of the early work as far as Karazin goes. The Karazin beat, so to speak. I give him credit where credit's due. Although he needs to come off that damn 45-year-old man dealing with 25-year-old shit. He needs to come off of that. But anyway, how would a guy like that feel about a woman that did some shit like that if she would have did that to him? And this is the kind of double talk bullshit that never really gets addressed as to why a lot of guys that understand the history of these chicks, because Soul Provider doesn't know the history of Karazin. This poor man doesn't know. They may know it, but they don't know it like we know it. As far as like as this stuff got revealed the first time. This was a guy that said he did not want kids, so he did not have kids. And when that changed, which he has a right to change his priorities, he changed his priorities as other things came into place. But you would have had a woman like Karazin that would have felt like securing the bag means to pretty much get pregnant by this dude, so you then can try to force a decision. That's the type of female Karazin is. And remember, that's what she tried to do with a black dude. And then the white dude is her fallback. Let's be very clear about that. But anyway, I would invite you all to see the video, look at her body language and compare it to how she was talking to the white dude. It's very different. It's almost like you deal with a different person. And I find that interesting. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because he said something else. He said something else, and I actually came across this in the comment section. So shout out to the sister that said that, even though she was talking shit. She pretty much said in the comment section of Karazin's video that he said, and I found the timestamp, that he said that successful men are not on social media. They're out here building business and building families. Now, whatever, it's one statement. I get it. But this is like a theme that I've heard. It's like some kind of the things that may not be the next thing that comes out, but it'll be the next thing that comes out. And this is why I keep telling you all, dudes like Dennis Sperling are very, very important. Dudes like Tia Sign Johnson and like accredited people, especially people that are willing to put themselves out there. Remember what I always used to tell you about Boyce Watkins. With all of Boyce Watkins' faults, and he has a lot, the one thing I give Boyce Watkins very much credit for is he is out there. Jason Black kind of is, but not really. Boyce is out there. You can see him. You can criticize him. You can take the arrows, the good, the bad. And we need more people out there. Now, I understand a lot of y'all don't claim Boyce. That's not what I'm talking about. But when you got somebody like Dennis Sperling, who doesn't have any of those issues that Boyce has lived life, has dealt with the child support game, the back and forth game with baby mamas, is out here. You see him visibly raising his sons and the stuff that he is doing for his sons. You see the educated millionaire lawyer, obviously he gave his testimonial that he gave for Kevin, which I knew about it, but I didn't want to put that out there because that's his business to tell. And I'm not in that Facebook group. So who am I to really speak on that Facebook group where I'm not in it, of Kevin's? So I'm glad he said that, because, and then Kevin has been mentioning Andre Hatchett, another one. Here's my point. You will never hear black women or men say that successful women are not on social media. As much gaslighting and gassing up of these females that I see, because I am in a lot of these hashtags, these melanated hashtags, these black business hashtags. I'm an economic pro-black. All this shit gasses up women. Like maybe like seven, like out of 10, it's 7 times. It's all gassing up women. A lot of, we know when they talk about women are the fastest growing businesses, even though women ain't creating industry for the most part, they're just creating a lot of these consultancies, which there's nothing wrong with that. But my point is, they act like this is where you got this backbone of the black community shit comes in. My point is, a lot of these women are on social media. Remember, you all that listen to me and on Roger Report and Pretty Kelly, what does she always talk about? Internet. And I was actually going against her, even though I'm an internet guy, saying internet is a great tool, but it is not the only thing. And even though I'm an internet guy, I still was giving that balance. Yeah, Merry Christmas, y'all. I was giving that balance, even though I understand what she's talking about. But there's other vectors. I believe in seeing the whole thing. Even though I'm an internet guy, I'm internet sales, I get what she's talking about. The SEO, all of that. And how important that is. But it's not the only thing. There's other things you got to deal with. Like, you can't take the people out of the fucking internet. And that's what I think a lot of people try to do. Now, she doesn't do it, because you can tell how she puts herself out there online. But other people, a lot of people do. So my point is, You will never hear a black man say successful women or these managerial women in companies and stuff like that, and they're not on. You would never hear them say that. Karasen's entire fucking career, everything that you know about her that is relevant, all her money, all comes from online. All of it. All of it. Her that pink pill shot, all of it. So you're literally on somebody's platform that hasn't done anything. And quite frankly, and this is where Kevin comes in, when you look at kinetically about her ability, I'm gonna tell you, Kevin wouldn't have put it out there like that if he didn't know it was true. Remember, BGS told you too. Karazin is fucking horrible at actually connecting white black women with white men. Not because she, and I'll give her this. It's not because she doesn't know how, because clearly she's done it for herself, being a single mother. It is because black women refuse to accept the calibrate. It's not even about criticism. Let's get out of these little childish words. These childish words that motherfuckers that are like emotionally still teenagers use. Criticism is a necessary element of calibration. See, now we're going to use, like, this is not a big word, but we're going to use vocabulary here. When you look at what Kevin does and when you look at what any consultant does, and I can tell you, a good consultant, they can look at your ass and tell you a lot about you, even things without even asking you a question, just based on how you act. Like seriously. Just based on mannerisms, they can rip things out of you that you think are personal. And I've seen it. I've seen it from black men, white men, black women. It's really scary. Some of the really masterful ones that are could be on the level of like a Tony Robbins, but quite frankly, just doesn't have the business behind it. But they're that good. You just don't hear about them like that. Jeffrey Combs is one of those guys. My point is the criticism is not about beating you up. It's about saying these are your strengths. These are, like BGS said, these maximize your strengths. These are your weaknesses. Can you cover them up or can you like change them over? And it's about calibrating you to the outcome that you come to them for. And it's not about I'm gonna get back to the main point, but the thing is, if they can't help you, they will tell you they can't help you because you're going to be a problem if you're not coachable. That's where that coachable shit comes in. If you're not coachable, you're going to be a problem because what you will do is you will project and start blaming the person that's supposed to help you because you don't understand that you're the problem and you're not coachable. And when I say not coachable, I mean your ability to be calibrated or molded or your willingness to do so is just not there. BGS just did a video when he was talking about that salsa dance and how that black woman had to stay to the side because she refused to be led, even though those were the rules of learning to salsa. You have to be willing to be coachable. And we've all gone through something where our own fear, our own inhibitions, our own issues have maybe made it so we can't be calibrated as easily as we otherwise could. And at that point, you have to kind of step into your own shit and get over it. Avery Woodley talks about that shit. Love Dorsey talks. A lot of us talk about that shit. You have seen black men go through that when BGS talks to a lot of these knuckleheads. You've seen that. So we all know it. Motherfuckers that think they right, that they everything, they know everything. Right? So my point coming all the way back to this is Karazin, probably given the right situation, could probably help somebody get with a white dude if that's what they wanted. But the problem is the women that follow her, that's not really why they follow her. They follow her to live vicariously through her situation. That is what it is. That's what the majority of her money comes from. And that's why whenever she says some real shit, like she will say, you need to lose weight, or she made that a mission, which we didn't, nobody knew that a lot of these women won't lose weight even for white dude. They want to fetishize these white guys from afar. But that inability to compete, because they have this self-hatred about themselves they haven't really resolved, that they want to project to everybody. Nobody can fix that but you. That's a you issue. Karen's not gonna fix that, and blaming black men isn't gonna fix that. And I would argue that black men blaming black women isn't gonna fix that if you have those issues as a black man. This is why if I'm really gonna get it brass tacks, if somebody tells me, oh, I have issue with black women, okay, did you have issues with other women? Who have you dated? Because I'm gonna assess, is it your issue is with women, meaning your social skills is a problem? Or and even if you're not fucking women like that, you can still assess that. Or is your issue a cultural compatibility problem with black women? Notice how, even though we know black women operate a certain way when it comes to black men, notice how saying it's a cultural compatibility issue doesn't blame black men, black women. It says you all are not culturally compatible. It's like dealing with any other group. There are certain groups that are not culturally compatible with other groups. There are certain groups that are more moldable to other groups. Like, for instance, a lot of Africans are not culturally compatible with black women because Africans are too patriarchal for a lot of black women's taste. And we're talking, and cultural compatibility matters because it's one thing to be sexually attracted to somebody, and O'Shea kind of talks about this a little bit. He touches on it. And there's another thing, and he talks about this, why he would say he would choose an African American woman over an African woman, all things being equal. The cultural compatibility stuff, as far as what he personally likes, is is what he brings into play. But see, these are things that you never hear any black relationship person talk about. The closest thing any of them will get to it, and they really never talk about this, is class. You never hear the mainstream folks talk about that shit. Ever. Ever. Because their goal is not really to solve anybody's problem. That's a video on its own. Let me rewind this all the way back to what my original thing was. So Guy said, dude CEO said, oh well, men that make money, and he didn't like put an exclamation point on it. He just put it out there, right? He said they're not on social media. Look, I work from home. I have my phone. We are well in the age of mobile. TikTok is kind of an exclamation point on it, but the truth is we've been in the age of like the mobile internet, right? As these tablets have gotten cheaper, as they've gotten more saturation, as these phones have gotten stronger. Like 2, 3 years ago, what were they talking about? Everything's gonna be mobile, everything's gonna be mobile. And you're already seeing it. COVID just sped everything up with internet sales and all of that because of the lack of social distancing, all these corporations closing as far as retail, live streaming being easier, 5G. I am on my phone in the middle of the night. All I had to do was click plus, put in a title, and then basically go live. And I'm having a conversation with 42 people. And you all know I've gotten up to 150 people this late at night, in the middle of the night. And you all, rather than going to a venue or being on your computer, you can just plug in your phone. Maybe you all were going through the Manosphere, and you all came through me and saw me, and we're interacting. This is not like I'm fucking. It's not like it takes that long. I can literally be, if I turn my TV on, I can literally show you my iMac, my Surface, and while I'm sitting here running my agents, like literally I will have my TV on, CNN, running my agents. I got ATTV now, so I literally can have like 2 or 3 different TVs on at the same time, just with my tablet. I can do all this at the same time. It's called the digital fucking age. It's called the mobile age. And I know him as a CEO, the way the him as a consultancy, all this technology works together to make things easier for you. Where you would have to hire people to do these things, you can do a lot of stuff on your own because of automation, machine learning, all of that great stuff. Shout out to the Black Brain Trust. When you look at self checkouts and all that, technology makes it so you could do things and your time can be more efficient in a way that it wasn't done before. And what kills me, and this is from somebody that understands the offline shit, what kills me is, again, you will never hear him make that statement about black women. Most of these black females are doing digital shit, and not doing offline shit. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And you will never hear them say, but when it comes to black men, well, black men, we're building the black men that are building. That's bullshit. That's not true. You got people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Dan Locke. I know people that do offline and online, but they're more offline because that's what they did. Jeffrey Combs. You would never hear white people say stupid shit like that. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You got Mark Flips houses. You've got I mean, like, don't even get me started on Tariq Nasheed. My point is, you've got a lot of people that do offline shit that have built. You've seen Jason Black do what he does with launching a documentary, and he runs a show. Jason Black, I mean, he does a show once a week or like a couple of times a week. But the point is, shit, Boyce Watkins used to do the shit every day and be like, my point is, I can give you a whole list of people. The internet, like, not being on the internet is not required. Now people want to really, that dig was about people, because you've seen O'Shea do the stream shit and all of that. First of all, Twitch, YouTube is built off of streaming, just more in gaming. So streaming is more and more of a thing. That's why they prioritize it. My point is, this idea of a high value, like, and again, Dennis Sperling, he's in you getting into YouTube. YouTube. Glendon Cameron, who I would probably argue has more money than that dude running his mouth. This idea of especially, and this is funny, being that this statement is made post COVID or in COVID, where your ability to do shit offline is really kind of fucked with. So you gotta be online. And here's the thing about him. And this says, and I'm not trying to beat on him. He seems like a really cool dude. He actually looks like Lawrence from Insecure. Now that I'm thinking about it. And this speaks to what Dennis said and Kevin said. You got a lot of black men that they may not even, their product may not even be geared towards black women, but they're fucking afraid of black women as a collective group. They may not even know they're afraid of black women, but everything they're calibrated to not say anything that pisses black women off. It's kind of like how we deal with gay people, where we know how a lot of black men feel about that shit, but black men calibrate that shit because they know there's punishment mechanisms in place to punish you if you say how you really feel. Your ability to tap the economy might be fucked with. Let's get them likes up, man. Let's get them likes up over like 40, please. So when I hear statements like that, real businessmen are not on the internet all day. Well, first of all, you know what? This is what I would say. First things first, statistics show black women are on social media and plugged into the media more than any other demographic bar, and it's not even close. Number two, if black women believed what he said, I mean, they'll say it on the front. Yeah, here you go. That's what I'm talking about. Blah, 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 blah. They wouldn't be so triggered. You got to ask yourself, if black women really believe that all these niggas is saying this are just nothing but losers, why do you care? It's like Lizzo saying, all I want is a big dick. And if you don't have that, you need not apply. Why would you care? It's Lizzo. She's fat as fuck. Or Gabrielle Sidibe. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't be triggered. You wouldn't be triggered. So you have to ask, why are black women collectively so fragile on stuff like this? Why does it matter? If it's not true, why does it matter? You know what I'm saying? You have to ask. And so when you look at that reaction and just the need to discredit it, it's bullshit. And I can tell you, I know plenty of internet marketers that make a lot more money than him this online. Like, that was just an asinine statement. Oh, well, they're just not on social media all day and blah blah blah. How do you think these companies, come on, man. Like advertising, like and I get it. It probably wasn't, like, again, like the demeanor by which he said it, like the way, you got to understand. This is a guy that understood that he was on a platform that was all women, and he probably had to conduct himself a certain way. I get that, But my thing is, and this is where, the movement for these guys to need to stop being scared. You're not gonna change anything. But see, here's another secret too. On the flip side of that, black men, a lot of black men are gonna tell black women. This is one thing black women need to understand. Your men, they're gonna tell you. A lot of them are gonna tell you what the fuck you want to hear because they don't want to hear your mouth. So if that means lying to your ass to basically shut you down, they're gonna do it. But the truth is, black men are gonna do, and black women know that deep down. That's why they get so fragile about what Kevin says and what other men say, because they know black men are doing what the fuck they're doing. What they say and what they're doing is not congruent. They know that. They know that the black men like that dude who was talking to Kerosene is not really checking for black females like that. Not like that unless they are exceptional. And when I say exceptional, I do not mean necessarily education and high money. I mean exceptional as far as the femininity, what's important for the femininity shit. This is where BGS comes in talking about like these guys want a certain criteria. I don't give a fuck what Gay Bay or any of them niggas tell you. When you look at who the fuck they with, that is not going to be congruent with what a lot of some of them say when it comes to what they trying to put out there. And if they are with somebody like that, it's because they got with them early before they got that. We all know that. But they're the ones that want to, that's why they get so fucking upset. We know what time it is. Like, I would love for that dude, I would love for Dennis to get that dude to come on his shit and be like, okay, and get all them other black dudes that he know, all of which probably make the same amount of money or more money than him, and say that shit. It's nothing to be on social media. You upload a couple of videos. If you got credibility, you got it. It's nothing. It doesn't require you being on here 24 hours a day or shit like that. They make it like, well, real men are just out here building businesses. No, it's called time freedom. It's called efficiency of time. Let's keep it real. If people got money like that, you got people to assist you in doing a lot of shit. Let's stop cutting. Let's cut the bullshit. But see, these are the things like women. They don't. You got to understand that black people as a whole, and this is even black men, because you see this in black men when it comes to game. They don't care about an outcome. They care about a narrative. And what you have is this is I'm gonna tell you. You want to know why Glenn Cameron is not bigger, like his disruptive male is not bigger than what it is, even though I would argue Glenn has got more credibility than a lot of these dating coaches, especially the younger ones. It's because Glendon Cameron doesn't speak to a narrative. Glendon Cameron speaks to outcomes. That's the issue. And that's too real for a lot of these dudes. And Glenn Cameron makes as much money as he needs to make. But I'm talking about why his stuff doesn't pop, pop, pop. Like social media wise, like the vanity shit, like the subs, the views. It's because he does not speak to, like I said, a narrative. He doesn't. You can't really live vicariously through what the fuck he's doing because the shit he's doing is on too high of a level for a lot of people to really put themselves in their shoes. And this is not saying this is the fault of any of these content creators because that's not their fault. Now, they may calibrate their business to take advantage of it, but the truth is, this is why you got dudes like Steve Dean, because you live vicariously through the narrative that he spins the fuck out. There's a lot of dudes that like the narrative that only weak black men travel. As fucking stupid as that is, they like that narrative. So they look for people that feed into that narrative. If you understand marketing, understand social media, that's what it is. But see, this is the dark side of it because people volunteer to basically not get shit for what they're doing. They volunteer for that shit. This is why I always tell you all are accountable to who you listen to. Sup, Gold Professor? What's up, T? Black Torch. Sir Anthony, Primetime, The Last Hawkins, Jim Rat, Vern, Darth Lithius, Spliff. Well, I mean, it's not even about roasting people. I'm not about roast. Like right now, I'm not roasting him. I'm just saying, let's unpack what you just said. You just said that that men that are successful are not on social media. Um, all these dudes got social media. All these, like a lot of these big dudes got social media. CEOs, all of them to a certain extent. Hell, your fucking president has social media. My like it's not about, now obviously I understood what he was trying to say. They're not on social media all day, they're not streaming all day, they're not talking about women. But here's the problem. Dudes, like, everybody wants to create the narrative. I First of all, I could say the same thing about females. Black women on social media, like I said before, more than any other demographic. But yet black women are doing all these great things, right? They're the fastest growing demographic. They're the most educated. So they're all this shit, yet they're on social media, watching TV and on media more than anybody. But yet they're doing all this shit that every black man seems to want to agree with, right? Because I hear black men push those numbers almost just as much. I actually hear black men push that most educated bullshit and that most fastest growing one than black women do, to be honest with you. I hear that, and that's pandering. But and a lot of you niggas need, even if you niggas don't want to speak up, you niggas need to stop fucking pandering. Like, seriously. Um then you've got this idea. Hold on. Well, Jedi Mac, he is a sucker, but well, I did finish my point. That's I'm doing rapid fire time. And social media is merged with me. I mean, it's the thing that, like I said, little shit like that. It's about unpacking that shit. Be like, okay, this is this is that, and I get where you're coming from. But this thing again, the real question. You notice how like you notice how the situation never flips to say, okay, let's say you want to say that. You'd be like, so I got a question for you, Kerrison. Sure. Why is it that black women are so triggered by what random black men say on social media? Because if you're going to say, okay, successful men are not on social media, fine. So the question is, why do black men care what do random dudes on the internet in their own pocket of the internet are saying about black women? Why? Because doesn't that say something about your own self esteem? Like, because remember, this is the narrative they were saying about that Jessica Gardner chick, right? She must have, they were dissing him for calling into the show in the first place. They were dissing her, I mean. They said she has low self esteem, which is why she called into the show. Which is low key saying why she called into Kevin, as if every call that Kevin does and most of the calls go that way. She must have low self-esteem, which is a low-key diss about to any female that calls that show. Because a lot of these women do not want him to have the clout they have. They want him gone. They don't care. So they're gonna low-key throw their little slick disses in. Right? So the question is, why does she care about a random dude? First of all, if she makes six figures, why didn't she just hire a consultant? She's got the money, especially if she's making six figures in North Carolina. Why are you being cheap? But furthermore, why is it that she cares about what she didn't really, she cared, but she didn't really care? But my point is, why is it that any of these females, because keep in mind, you got content creators that lost their mind. And by the way, the show happened. The show happened a while ago. It was only until it got put on World Star that they lost their minds. You got to really ask yourself that. And then you got to be like, well, I'm here because of a video of a random dude that you all want to say may not even be a six-figure dude is telling you. So you have to ask yourself that question. You know, he does 7,000 views, live viewership. You have to really ask yourself that question. What is it that's drawing him into it? That's a personal problem. And don't say you don't know, because I think you all do know. You all just don't want to put it out there. It was the same reason why Karen herself called into the fucking show. The same reason why Karen has called into O'Shea's shit. Let's cut the bullshit. Hell, O'Shea Duke Jackson is about to be a fucking doctor. And he was on social media the entire time he was in fucking medical school and running a fucking blog that hired writers. Man, any of y'all listen to Steve, y'all motherfucking fool. Y'all heard that from me. No, Steve does not speak the fucking truth. No, I'm not gonna make this about Steve the Dean. You know, you're gonna make me reshare Marcus A. Brown. I don't really speak on Steve like that. I got Marcus Brown's video from 3 years ago that basically is a compilation of who Steve the Dean fucking is, and that's the only thing I share. At the end of the day, all that be a man, be a man, be a man. First of all, like, he ain't saying nothing that's already not known. Second of all, Steve talks about all that man shit, but that man shit couldn't help him deal with that black bitch, could it? He had to go get a Miss Potato white bitch. So as far as a wife, I mean, calls wife a bitch, but anyway, my point is, you know what I'm talking about. All these game niggas. I'm gonna tell you something about these game. Look, all these. It's funny. All these gang. You notice how Glendon's included in this, but Glendon don't like spin the wheel like that. All these niggas that are game niggas, how many of them got black women? Tariq Nasheed mixed. ARC's like the only one. All of them got white women for the most part. Jap is like another exception to that rule. Jap, ARC, the rest of them all got white women. So it's funny how if game is supposed to get you to control a bitch, how none of them could crack the fucking code of how to control black women. That needs to be answered. And Steve is like in the front of that list. So as far as I'm concerned, if the man mindset can't deal with the gynocracy, then that shit is of no use to me. Because that might as well be go SYSBM. SYSBM is not the same as passport bros. Quite frankly, most passport dudes want to deal with melanin women, and that's what they deal with. SYSBM says, no, I'm going full Latin or full white, and I don't need to lead a country to do that. And none of them game niggas, because you notice, none of them game niggas really talk about that. Now, some of them, like Lucario, will try to let it slip out of his mouth. Boy, man, if you got a problem with dealing with black women, you can't do it. You say that shit, but every bitch you dealing with is white. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that from, like, Jap. Jap can say that. Jap can say that and have credibility. Because Jap can say that. But no, I don't want to hear that, because that's people not living. Shout out to Clutch, because none of them niggas ever account for cultural accountability, because they try to twist female nature and say all women are the same. All women have the same like operating system, but or maybe no, that's not even true. All women may have what is like the same BIOS code, but they don't all have the necessarily same operating system. Linux is not the same as Apple, which is not the same as Windows. And then you got levels to different operating systems, even amongst that. Then you got what applications are on the operating systems. Operating systems are culture. And so female nature may be the same, but cultures are the same. Then you got laws which govern what women can really get away with. So this is why when women say feminism is everywhere, that's not true, because the laws are not everywhere in the same way that the laws are in the United States and the West. You cannot, like, I don't even think you can have an abortion. You can't even have abortions in Africa. So you got to ask yourself how much of a difference that actually makes. Like, see, all you know is abortion in America. You don't know countries where you can't do that shit and how that completely changes the fucking dynamic with what a woman can and cannot do. Because if you can have an abortion, then that means those children are going to be a burden to the immediate family that woman has. So they have a invested interest in making sure she don't hoe it up too much. Because a woman like that could completely drive the entire family back into poverty. But see, these are things that people don't consider when they talk about women are all the same. We all know about female nature. Nobody's disputing that. But you have layers of shit that governs females' behavior and what they do. So when you say feminism, feminism means different things. So when people say, well, feminism is rising, nigga, I don't give a fuck what you talk about. The gynocracy is not everywhere. That is some unique shit we deal with here that you may be able to find in one other part of the world. So as far as I'm concerned, it ain't nowhere near as bad as what we're already used to dealing with. Well, I mean, yeah, and then my thing is, you ain't got no money. You got money, but you ain't traveled. That shit's retarded. Like I heard you Jap's come off of that a little bit. Jap even said like he was saying something about a lie, but he's like it was 400 trip to Mexico. It's like, damn, first of all, nobody is saying you gotta go trick. Don't trick, travel. You can still travel and say that you don't even believe in tricking. Everybody like frustrated wasn't about tricking. Like it's retarded. But I don't. You know what? My shit like that. This is a lesson too. You gotta let people have their opinions. Say, you know what? That's fucking stupid. But I'm still gonna do what the fuck I'm gonna do, and I'm still gonna promote what the fuck I'm promoting. Do not let. You don't need people's permission to do shit because as the traveling thing, it's big enough. But as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, that argument gets harder and harder and harder to make. And this is why I shout out all the dudes. Shout out to the dudes that are not uploading Instagram pictures and actually uploading real pictures of them traveling with real women. Because that was a thing that got on my fucking nerves years back, which was motherfuckers would upload Instagram thoughts on Instagram and then say, oh, that's right. No, that's not what we're doing. Because that validates what they're talking about. Because if you don't travel, that's what you do. No, take your ass over there, take real fucking pictures and upload and do that. Get real fucking footage. And people are starting, and you see, that's not as big of an issue at all as that was like 2, 3 years ago. So that argument is hard to make as more and more dudes are getting over there. It's harder to make. And that's what you do. You keep on doing you, just like the manosphere did. Those women did the shit over there. As the environment shifted, what happened? You keep running your lane. And that's why I typically don't even comment on what the fuck they do. But the reality of the situation, and then what happened? Now that Kevin's at their level, they can't really say shit. It's very hard for them to say shit because at the end of the day, the shit is being put out there, and now they're rolling like whatever, fuck Roland Martin, but whatever. There's people that like Roland Martin, unfortunately. So Roland Martin even had to say that. And so you have all of these interests, and then trust me, Kevin already said it. He's gonna start doing interviews, interviewing folks, women, men. It's gonna be very hard, and there's a lot of it's still women today on YouTube making videos talking about they agree with what he said. This is the thing I want y'all to understand that this is what women are afraid of. Remember what I told you. The reason why you don't hear more women speak out is because women feel like they are not protected enough to do so compared to what these other females will do to them. And there's not enough dudes that are out front that's kind of like pushing the conversation out there so they can take the majority of the hits. Now you got somebody like Kevin out there, and I'm going to tell you, Dennis's channel is going to get bigger too. His channel is going to grow a lot too because he has a lot of credibility behind him. The more of these guys that come out there, the more you're going to see women feel more comfortable coming out there. Even women like Danica Marie is still going to argue against a lot of these extremely game, goofy, angry females, working class females that they're just butt her and just straight hating. Because even Danica Marie is more on the do it more like how they did it in the 90s. To you got to give these dudes something. You just cannot be on some I don't need your ass, but I need your ass bullshit. Even she's not on that bullshit. So it's gonna be harder. Some women are doing reactions with their husbands and agreeing with Kev's content. Of course, they don't have the backings of the exactly. And I'm gonna tell you, we have. It's not about supporting the women. It's about supporting the narrative and supporting what the truth is. That is what it's about. So a lot of people in the manosphere always have this don't support women. Or, like Ty City, look, I fuck with Ty City heavy, but Ty City gets on my nerves with that shit. When he says the manosphere is changing, this is the new manosphere. That clickbait shit. Stop that bullshit. Because truth be told, you ain't even been in the manosphere long enough to even have any real content. The manosphere has always been in flux to a certain extent. He came in the manosphere where it was Stream Team. So that's for the most part all he knows. So anything that operates outside of that, he doesn't know what it is. He hasn't been in the manosphere long enough to even really have a qualified opinion about is it changing or not changing. There's heavy hitters, there's people like in the manosphere, like Kid Organic or people like that. People don't talk about, or Darius MGTOW shit like that he don't even know about because he's not in the kind of orbits that he's in a certain orbit sector of the manosphere. So he's speaking on like that shit and whatever, man. But I fuck with Ty City, but that shit gets on my nerves when I see videos like the man is here, like because I know what he's going with when he says that. But my point is, as you're gonna see that more, and you all don't do friendly fire. The reality is, because here's the thing, well, what if these women break bad? Well, if they break bad, then you just show how disingenuous they are. Like everybody's talking about, well, Jessica X, man, she's gonna build a channel and then it doesn't matter. Cause the point, it doesn't even, let's say that's what she's doing. It doesn't matter. The point is, would you rather motherfuckers build shit by pandering to you? Or would you rather motherfuckers build shit like Chrissy and Paris built it by saying you ain't shit, or Cynthia G, you ain't shit? Which one would you rather have? Would you rather have people that are invested in a black male audience and what they say is governed by that, or would you rather have the opposite? But people don't. I don't fuck with Kid Organic like that, but I've really never had an issue with Kid Organic. But all I know is he don't like BGS, he don't like O'Shea, and yeah. But my point is, there's people in the manosphere I never talk to. The manosphere is a lot bigger than what people like to act like it is. Stream Team is a very, very small subsection of what the manosphere is. The black manosphere. So my point, and even the fact that you got these white boys involved now, a lot of these white boys are starting to get involved, because Kevin speaks to a certain class thing that kind of appeals to them as well. And then when you look at Donovan Sharp and shit like that, like shit is starting, like it's because you got to remember Donovan Sharp is up there too. Is getting up there. Donovan is what, like at 80. Jada Black is what, at like 80. O'Shea is at 113. Mediocre tutorial reviews is popping off. And then a lot of these small channels, me, Fantastic, Bernard's already at 8, at 5, LAR's at 14, MOT's at 20. I'm telling you, I'm gonna start rail gunning my channel as well. So you're gonna see my channel accelerate. Mark my words. Yeah, it's going to accelerate. Well, Bernard, like Obsidian is actually getting a lot more push. Shout out to Taurine Rain in your world. My point is, well, yeah, and so you have to be Machiavellian like that. Let's be clear here. And this is what certain people don't understand. This is what Fantastic understands, but he doesn't like allude to. He alludes to it, but doesn't really outright say it. Jessica X is Jessica. Here's look. I have no problem. I like Jessica. Here's the thing with Jessica. You can say what you want to about an avatar. You don't know what she look like. I don't give a fuck. Voice, I don't give a fuck. The point is, at the end of the day, because guess what, motherfuckers don't know what Jason. Here's and let me switch this. Motherfuckers don't know what Jason Black looks like, but Jason Black was able to raise $250 million multiple times for his documentary series. So let's stop fucking talking about like not knowing what you somebody looks like matters. Now obviously that's an exceptional thing. Let me be very clear about that. But it's there. Motherfuckers don't know who Professor Black Truth is. He's got 80 something subscribers. By the way, Jason Black is north of 100 too. Or about to be north of 100. So anyway, Jessica, we know black men are our audience, or women that lean towards black men are our audience. Jessica is a focal point to attract that audience. So by definition, Jessica is an asset. And a lot of dudes get mad because they're trying to compete with her. And I think that's a mistake. Because her channel is a focal point channel. That's one thing about Concrete Rose and that Danielle and Concrete don't do. Danielle and Concrete only deal with the audience that we're already dealing with. But they don't really focus an audience. I can go to Jessica's shit and know I'm gonna get exposure if I really wanted to do that and then actually get some benefits of it. And Jessica actually has an ability to actually attract new people, new black men into the audience, into the space, which is what everybody should be trying to do, which is the main reason you would even have these females in here. But you still got to vet which ones you do that because, like I said, they do that for bullshit reasons. Now, remember, Jessica did do a thing with Danica Marie, but like Danica's gonna do that for her own thing. And quite frankly, she don't need us anyway. So you have to be careful who you do that with. And then it depends on what type of platform you're on. Bernard and Roger have slightly different platforms than maybe I do, or Ramil does. So these are things you have to understand. But see, dudes don't think about that because they're on some. They're number one, they're not content creators. So a lot of dudes are not thinking that way. And shout out to Ramil because he does his own thing. But Ramil kind of is doing the Jap path, which Jap has a lot more women that listen to him than so there's a lesson there. So people have all this political shit with like I don't get that. I really don't get I don't get that. And a lot of that shit is low key jealousy. It really is. It really is. And motherfuckers always women are gonna be women. So you have to be able to be Machiavellian like that, understand to operate within how they operate. And you have to the most important thing is you have to learn how to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined about how you deal with yourself and know why you're interacting with them. Well, it's cocaine, cocaine, that's unfortunate. That situation between her and Game Changer. But you get caught up with the wrong folks. Um, you get caught up with the wrong folks and you get caught up into the social aspect of this shit. That's what happens. I'm glad you saw that. Yeah, man. And I'm gonna keep it real. She's like love Dorsey. Because I found some of her videos where she's talking about dudes, but she ain't saying nothing we ain't already said as far as dudes. Basically, you knowingly fuck with these bitches. Don't complain about the bullshit when you know they showing you who they are. We say that. And her video and see that's one thing, Rebecca's like, oh well, don't use my videos. We got a lot of videos of women that will stand on what the fuck they say. They're not gonna come back from it. And at the end of the day, us sharing her videos ain't doing nothing but helping her ass out. Yeah, yeah. Whenever black women say that, they're fucking lying. You're right. I'm gonna keep it real with you, man. Like now that I'm up, I already know that I might as well go ahead and check this fucking Wonder Woman shit out. Cause I already know I gotta get up. I gotta get up anyway. Yeah, good man. Yeah, and that's why you like we gotta like. There's certain people that we got a rail gun, especially the dudes. Like somebody like Dennis. Dennis is a 7-figure guy who's been through a lot of the shit. Who was definitely claimed SYSBM and said he agrees with that philosophy. Who has receipts. Dennis needs to be railgunned. Dennis needs to be railgunned to like 50, 60, 70,000. I know he be asking for donations. I be like, nigga, I've donated to him. But I'm like, look, you gonna get shares from me. That's what you getting. Damn the donations. You don't need the money like that. But what we can do for you is something for free, which is share your shit, like your shit. Share is worth a lot. Share. Dennis's videos are extremely Facebook friendly. Share. In fact, what should happen is really Dennis needs to take all his YouTube videos, quite frankly, and upload them onto Facebook. Because Facebook values, and I ain't trying, whatever. We'll see how I do that. I may make a fan page or something just to support them. But that stuff is a lot more share friendly than doing it off of Facebook. I mean YouTube and sharing it on the Facebook. You want to share, and get that exposure because his shit is, and also he's demonstrated he'll talk to women and his demeanor. It feeds into all of that. You gotta railgun him. We gotta get as many of them dudes up as possible. It makes it a lot harder for motherfuckers to talk that shit because they can't hide behind the stuff. And as an audience, that's our responsibility to make that happen. And y'all can feel, and here's the thing, people, oh, well, you said do that. I'm not saying, like, what I'm saying is for the dudes, y'all shouldn't be giving me that pushback. That's what I'm saying. I get the pushback with the women because sometimes you gotta let them marinate. But my thing is, let's say you railgun Jessica and she breaks bad. On the number one, on the way of rail gunning, there's an audience that you can pull from it. See, what people don't understand is Christy blew up, but SWP had an audience of 30, 40,000 people too. So a lot of people came up with it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do an 8-hour stream, dude. Yeah. So I mean, my point is, you got to look at this stuff strategically, and we got way too many people that don't do that. And again, even if you want to have you can have the opinion on the females. Well, I'm saying on the dudes, like that shouldn't be the case. Because think about it, when you got this nigga like Marquette out here, this Saint in the center, you need people. Kevin can't jump on every. Here's the thing: Kevin can't jump on everybody, and Kevin has told you he's not gonna do that. That's not what he's gonna do. So you need more people that can do that. Same thing with hell. Dr. Tiasan Johnson's another dude. Because the bigger you make him, the harder. Helping Dr. Tiasan Johnson is low key helping BGS as well. Because that's all in that think tank group. So now you have to actually say, we have accredited PhDs on this shit. Now what you gonna say? So any of these Aaron Fountains, Roland Martins, any of these people that want to talk shit, even Jason Black, guess what? Now you gotta like I don't know that he's jealous. I won't say that. I won't say that. And I don't know enough about him to really make a full assessment. I mean, you could do that, but wouldn't you rather buy some shit in California and rent that shit while you in Charlotte? No, I know what you mean by suspect. I don't know. I don't know about that yet. That's why I haven't really made that conclusion. That's to be determined. I suspect he has more receipts. He has some receipts behind him. But even with what he's talking about, he can try to slick diss the dudes, but he's not. He hasn't been letting the females completely off the hook. Well, you know, the manosphere is, I wouldn't say at its peak. I would say the manosphere is really starting to break out. And you have levels to the channels. Nah, well, he doesn't like Kevin. I don't know. I think there's a lot of himself in Kevin, and that's what he don't like. But my thing is, he ain't exposed jack shit. You want to talk about Kevin saying was exposed? Like, you know, like all he's talking about is, man, please. And I'm gonna tell you, I bet you that dude's a more bigger asshole than Kevin is. I know he is. Anyway, y'all, like, this has been great. We did this at a good hour, so you know, Merry Xmas. I hope y'all have a good day. Hopefully, y'all got some presents. Don't, if y'all get that stimulus check, you better not spend it on no PS5. No, it's not at the max yet. I think 2021 is going to be a breakout year for a lot of people. And my thing is, we got to start arguing with each other and start focusing on growing the space. Yeah, peace out, man. Hey, man, you know I got to do it. You know I got to do it. Hey, man, if y'all want to give a brother a gift, you know, hit up the Cash App for $5. You know, Allen 100K, ALLEN 100K, $ in the front. So y'all want to do me a favor, do that shit. $Allen 100K. And anyway, again, appreciate the super chat from Good Man. All right, let's grow this movement. And if you're new to here, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and I'll share some of them videos in a little bit when it comes to the videos I was referring to. So with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.